everyone, welcome to Marsaille Wells iHeartRadio show. I'm your girl Marsaille Wells, and today I'm with CEO, founder, creator, Abby Lee Miller. It's so nice meeting you, Miss Abby.
It's lovely to meet you. I'm excited.
Yes,
I'm much better with kids. Your mom's not around, is she?
No, my mom's not around.
Good. Whew.
Oh,
Thank the Lord. Okay.
Yes. Now today we're going to be talking about dance moms, of course, your health, and also new upcoming projects that you'll be telling us today. Now, I have to ask you, what was it like being the founder of Dance Moms? Were you prepared for the overwhelming success?
I was not the founder of Dance Moms. I wish I had been, because things would be quite different right now. That's for sure. I don't get any credit as far as being an executive producer or creative credit. Nothing, nada, zip.
Are you serious?
Yes.
But you were the creator, like you were the person.
No, I wasn't. An old friend who was a dancer in LA, a very successful commercial dancer, meaning he did TV commercials, he did the Academy Awards, he did Janet Jackson's world tour, like stuff like that. He was getting to the end of his career in his 30s and thought he needed some ways to pay off a credit card, and he was going to create a TV show.
Really?
Me. So he's here in LA, I'm in Pittsburgh, and he must have called me 4 times a day, asking me, picking me for information, because I made a whole life of going to these competitions with these kids weekend after weekend. And I had, well, as today goes, I have kids in 33 Broadway shows.
Wow.
Now, Broadway is shut down right now, of course, but I've had kids in 33 Broadway shows. The network really didn't want people to know that. That was kind of like, they wanted me to be this down and out dance teacher that they found, that was struggling, that they helped. Not true.
But really, you were the main star. You already had your stuff together. You were already Abby Lee Miller before Dance Moms.
I was going to the Tony Awards with my students. I was hobnobbing in New York, more New York stuff than LA. Okay. Because we're in Pittsburgh, we're close. So I was driving kids back and forth to auditions. Bernie Telsey and Johnson Lift casting directors in New York would call my studio, and they would say, hey, we need 12-year-old or 14-year-old little girl that does a left side aerial tomorrow in New York City at 5 o'clock. And I would be like, okay. And I'd go into the studio and I'd see who all did a left side aerial, who was the right age, the right height, whatever. And in the car we went, and I left my studio. I missed my classes. I hired a sub because I knew that those parents were not going to drive those kids. That I had to do it. Right.
You had to do it. You had to be the main person to do it.
Right.
That's crazy. Now, I know you've been a coach since you were 14 years old. Am I right? That's crazy. What was the biggest lesson that you have learned being a coach?
Wow, that's a sad one, actually, that they're not your children. They are going to go, whether they go on good terms, happy terms, and you're at their graduation party, or you're in New York City at their first Broadway opening and you're a part of their life, or whether there's some kind of turmoil and the parents aren't happy and the kid's not winning and they go. They're always going to go. And when they come home for Christmas, they visit their family. Maybe they'll pop into the studio when it's recent, but once they get to be in their late 20s, 30s, they see mom, they don't see me. But yet they wouldn't have the career that they have if they hadn't been in my studio and I hadn't taken an interest in them and pushed them.
They'll never forget you. You're very memorable. You're very memorable.
I would hope so. There's kids now that have been on the TV show that don't know my name.
Really?
They publish a book and they just say, my teacher in Pittsburgh. Like, they can't even say my name.
They need to go back, rewind, and go back, because I'm sure if they knew the real story or remember the real story, then they would definitely give you the credit that you deserve.
Yeah, it's very sad. I think about their lives now, and they're millionaires. They're financially set forever, I hope forever. And they're doing this and doing that and so successful. And had there never been a Dance Moms, had there never been the TV show, they would still be in Pittsburgh, going to college on Zoom, or still in high school, doing their classes online. Some of them may still dance. Some of them may not still dance. And we probably would have much better relationships. We would still be in touch. We would still be, teacher and student if the TV show hadn't destroyed all of that. It made them a lot of stars. It gave me wonderful opportunities that I would have never had. However, it did a lot of destruction because I, went into it as a dance teacher in Pittsburgh. I didn't have the right attorney. I didn't have the right accountant. I didn't have the right agent saying, no, she's not signing that. No. It destroyed my business.
Do you regret Dance Moms?
Yes.
You do?
I regret the way it happened.
Yes.
And I regret not being smart about letting the production company come in and use my studio for free. And I didn't know the money that was involved. I didn't know how much money the network was making from me. They couldn't even pay the utility bills in my studio. And, we had class from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night because kids went to school all day. But when the show came in, they were in there at 10 o'clock in the morning with the lights and the sound and the men in the big boots and mud all over my gorgeous floors that my parents gave me their life savings to build. It was a lot. And I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't have the right backing. My dad had passed away. He probably would have punched some of those producers in the face. It would have never been a show because of the things they did and said and, like the all the chaos.
Right.
And those mothers, come on, let's face it. If a mother talked to me in a studio like that, their kid would have been expelled. The very next day, they would have been out trying to get their kid in another studio. And maybe we would have heard a little gossip for a year or two and then fizzled out. And then we never heard about the kid again. That's how it works. That's the real deal. But because they were on a show, the network or the producer said, you can't throw them out. You can't throw them out.
That's crazy. That was actually gonna lead up to one of my questions was the conflict real in Dance Moms? And clearly it was real. Was the conflict actually real between the moms?
Yes, they stirred the pot. The producers definitely set stuff in motion. And again, these were real moms. It's a reality show, so they were not prepared. So once you have that microphone on and they were talking on the phone to their husband or on the phone to the guidance counselor at school that the kid's going to fail, she missed too many days, blah, 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 blah. The producers heard all that.
Wow.
They heard it. So then they made stories out of things that they were eavesdropping and they heard that were really, none of their business, but too bad you said it. So that was it. And I said things, I don't want to say I said things I regret, but I said things in the heat of the moment that they wanted me to say. They would whisper in my ear, you need to cross the line. You need to put this woman in her place. And how old are you, sweetie?
I'm 15 years old.
Okay. So even at 15, people didn't come into the studio and talk to me that way. If you respect your teacher, your coach, if you put your child, you investigate, you look for a dance teacher like you're looking for a pediatrician, someone that's going to touch your child's body from age 2.5 to 18, right? It's hands-on. I need to get in there, fix their hips and straighten their leg and stretch their foot. And once you find that person, you kind of hand your child over to them and say, here, I want them to have fun and get an education and know where they are every Tuesday and Thursday. And I want to know they're doing something positive and good. Or you hand your kid over and say, I want my kid to be a star. I think she has the talent. You think she has the talent. I'm going to butt out and you do whatever it takes, Abby. That's the way it happens.
Right.
And now this whole world is momagers and parents are involved and blah, 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 blah. So, a kid like, I'm going to say her name, Maddie, because I remember her name. When I worked with her so hands-on, it was because her mother didn't. Her mother wasn't involved. Her mother was, out having an affair with this one and that one and this one. So she was trying to find a new husband.
Right.
So the thing is that Maddie needed someone to do her hair, to do her makeup, to buy her outfits, she needed it. Not that they didn't have the money. It was, Melissa wasn't a makeup artist. She wasn't a hairdresser. She wasn't into the dancing. She had never danced as a child. So she wasn't all in it. The other mothers wanted an opinion.
Right.
The other moms, like the tall blonde and then the one with the crazy eyes, they wanted to be involved. They wanted to play dance teacher. They wanted to be me. They wanted to dress their kid their way and do it. So they didn't need me. So I wasn't involved with their child like I was with another kid because they had their mothers to do it. Do you see what I'm saying?
They didn't respect your opinion. They didn't respect your
They
professional.
respected it and they wanted it, but they also wanted their own opinion. And they didn't have a job, and they had a husband, and they weren't out like philandering all the time. So they were there. They were there. So only one mom in the whole show was ever sitting there for 4 hours a day, every day. And that woman would look down into the room, up in the waiting room, and she would say, look at that kid. Look at that kid. Why is she in my daughter's group? She's horrible. Look at that kid. She's ugly. Why is she in my daughter's group? She would say those things. And she would also say, well, I didn't pay my bill. I'm not paying that. I don't know why you people paid that. Why would you pay that? That's what she was doing.
Right.
And my secretary of 25 years came to me and said, I cannot work here anymore. If I go upstairs and hear that woman one more time say something hateful and mean and derogatory about these other people's children, I'm going to put her through the window. I can't do it. So that's.
May I ask who that was? May I ask who that was?
She had 2 kids and she had the big crazy eyes and she didn't speak English that well.
Okay.
I mean, she was born and raised here, but and then another woman, Holly, Dr. Holly, Nia's mom, we never saw her. I never saw her. She was a principal at a school.
Right.
She didn't get to the dance studio at 4:00 when classes started. She was at school. And Nia's grandfather, a wonderful man, a very kind man. He was much older, slow moving. He would get her to class. He'd help her get her shoes and stuff on. He'd get her a snack, and into class she went. So I didn't have a lot of contact with the moms.
Right.
And then there was another mom who's struggled financially, and her husband was, like some loser job. He didn't make any money and she didn't. And they wanted the kid to be spotless and gorgeous and have the best leotard. And they dressed her beautifully. She looked like a dancer. She acted like a dancer. But, I think the kid just struggled. Do I listen to my mom or do I listen to Abby? Do I listen to Miss Gianna or do I listen to my dad? And then when you teach your child to lie and, why weren't you in class last night? Because and the kid can't answer you, that puts the child in a stressful situation.
Right.
So I know where the kid was. She was out doing a meet and greet, making money to build her family a new home. So I know where she was, and it was all over social media, but she missed some of the choreography that we put into the routines.
Yes.
And the kids had class on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and the weekend, normal classes. So when we started shooting a show, when the TV show wrapped and they were off camera, they just ran right into whatever class was going on, whether it was their class or older kids class or younger kids class or not as good class or better class. We just shoved them into a class, and their mothers went out to dinner and had drinks and did this and did that. And the kids were at the dance studio and I was still teaching. This was still teaching. We were teaching till 10 o'clock at night and everybody wrapped it, whatever. The way that the show, if you want to hear more about the show, the way they ruined the business was, imagine it's 10 below zero, freezing cold, snow out, ice out, and you get your kid to the dance studio, right?
Right.
Pick them up at school. They're changing their clothes in the car. You're rushing. You're throwing a snack at them. You're driving through the fast food place, right? You get to the studio. They jump out of the car, and there's a PA, nobody, dressed horribly, going, you can't come in. We're shooting in the lobby. Sorry, you can't come in. Sorry, can't get in here. Then once the kids would get in the lobby, there'd be another person in front of the dressing room where they put their coats and their shoes. Sorry, we're shooting a scene in the den. You can't come in. Sorry, you're going to have to put your stuff over there. There's no room for you. So this is how it was ruining my business.
Yes.
People didn't want to be on the show necessarily. They didn't want their lives changed, but they wanted their children to have the same attention from me and from the staff, and they wanted their kids to have a great education.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of moms came to me and said, what are you doing? Why are you destroying your business? And I said, well, I started at 14. I've had kids on Broadway. This is like the next step, television. And they said, but Abby, you're rewarding the kids who don't respect you, who don't appreciate the business. They sit upstairs and they degrade you and your choreography and your faculty. And now you're putting their kids on TV. You're rewarding their kids. Their kids get to travel. Their kids get, and I don't even think those people were thinking at the time, their kids get millions of dollars.
Right.
And they weren't even thinking past the first season.
Because Dance Moms was a global show. It was like really like the first like big dance show, to be honest, if we're being honest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And after Dance Moms, were you able to like regain all the people you lost during that show?
No.
No,
my manager and two of my students who grew up there since they were 2 years old, and were now adults, teaching, married. My manager stole all of my paperwork and all of my addresses and phone numbers, and they got their hooks into every kid, and they opened a new studio with 282 kids to start. Who opens a new business and has 282 students? Nobody, unless yeah, that's when I was out here in LA opening the studio out here. That's when all that happened.
So behind the scenes, this all been happening while Dance Moms. That's really crazy. Now, I want to ask you this question. I think I already have the answer, but I know a lot of viewers know you and just want to know, who was your favorite like dance girl from Dance Moms? Or did you even have one?
From Dance Moms? You know, it varies. People always think that Maddie was the favorite, but you have to understand, I loved working with her. I enjoyed my time, like creative time with her. I had a friend named Mindy, who was a huge theater teacher, still is, in Pittsburgh. She runs our high school for the performing arts, and she would come in the 8 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold and come into the studio. We'd heat the whole building so that Maddie could have an acting private. Wow. And that was hush hush on the down low. But Maddie's mom would go get her at school, yank her out of school, bring her to the studio. Then I would work with her. Gianna would work with her. Other staff members would work with her on choreography. And then her mother would sneak her back to school, put her in school, sit in the parking lot, and then she'd come back out with her sister and get in the car and come to the studio like she'd never been there.
So Maddie was very dedicated. She was very dedicated.
She herself was dedicated, but she had the only mom that was going to go sneak her out of school and get her there. And the other parents wouldn't do that. Chloe could not miss one day of school. Her dad would not allow her to miss 1 minute of school. But guess what? Her dancing built them the house they live in, not school.
Right.
And, I mean, not that elementary school. And then, like I said, Nia, she was in school downtown, like far from the studio, so she couldn't get there. Kendall came in a later season. So, you know, all the kids, Brooke and Paige could not miss school. Like they wouldn't have been able to cope if they missed school. So, and they wanted to be popular at school too. They didn't think the show was going to be important. The school was more important, like being at the dance and being a cheerleader and doing all that school stuff. So I think that as far as people assuming a favorite, they just thought that because of the close relationship.
Right, your bond.
We needed somebody that we could count on in those group dances to remember them. So if Maddie could sneak in early during the day and learn it without anybody knowing and the cameras not being there, we did it. Of course we let her, and we did it because I spent more money on faculty. I was paying everybody on the hour to be there out of my pocket to be there to teach her, so that when the cameras started shooting, somebody looked like they knew what they were doing.
Right. So you could have like a main star in a sense.
Well, somebody that was reliable. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Reliable. So, and then also what you have to realize is when the show first happened, it was supposed to be that the network bought the show as a housewives show. So it was supposed to be a housewives show, 90% and 10% the kids in the dancing. That's it.
That's why it's called Dance Moms?
Yes. So it wasn't about the dancing. It wasn't about the kids, and nobody auditioned. No one.
Really?
Well, Kendall, the second year, but nobody auditioned. So they sat in a chair next to mommy, all done up with a costume on, but never got up and danced. They sat there, and they act like thousands of people auditioned for the show. Thousands of people. No, they saw 30 people, 30 families came to my studio. Wow. 30 families, and 27 were my students at my studio.
Really?
2 were friends that I had that had little boys that I thought were really good, that would make great TV. And the 30th one was Kathy from Candy Apple.
My goodness. So the story is all just coming together, like the behind the scenes, everything.
Exactly. So these 27 families, a lot of them were teenagers, older kids that were really promising, and they went on to great careers, but they wanted the little kids. So a lot of them were older, but there was one group of kids I had, and it had Nia, Chloe, Maddie, and Paige were in this group. There were 18 kids. A lot of them much better than the kids on the show. Just saying. So there were 18 kids. 4 got on a television show, and 14 quit.
Wow. 14.
So right there, I lost that tuition. Not for that year, but imagine if those kids were 8 and 9 years old and they stayed until they was 17. So I lost 8 years of tuition, 9 years of tuition. Nobody thinks about those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So is Dance Moms officially canceled? Are y'all like coming back this year, or is it officially done? New chapter of Abby Lee Miller.
New chapter of Abby Lee Miller. I have a scripted dance show. It's called Dancing with the Dead. Watch for that. And then I also have a reality show that is not for children, that is about some of the experiences that I had after my big staycation. It's a crazy, nutso reality show. Before you were even born, MTV started with The Real World, and it was like the newest, latest sensation. This show would do that same thing. It would be a whole new concept that no one's done before.
Tell us about a little bit of your new projects that you're doing.
Well, I can't. It's not that I can't say too much. I just don't want to give too much away.
Right.
So this show it's halfway home, and it's about leaving prison or jail and getting back into reality. And, it is real, and it's not for children. It's crazy. You really get caught up in these lives and these stories, and you feel for these people. And there's an emotional bond, and you're rooting for them to do well, and sometimes they don't.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's a new reality show that I was pitching all during COVID with one of the producers from Dance Moms. I was pitching it. We were doing it. It was great, blah, 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 blah. And then he dumped me, and he sold the show with somebody else as me. Someone else is going to play me. So we'll see how that works out.
We'll see. It might not work out without you. I mean, come on.
No, I think it will. I think it'll be great. It'll be great. But, who knows? Maybe I can.
You never know.
Maybe I could work, behind the scenes. We'll see.
Right.
And then wait, what else is happening? Well, the ALDC Studio LA is open. We have going on. Yes, if anyone wants to stop in, we have a whole retail store still. We sell all the merchandise and the t-shirts and the masks and the hoodies. And then we also have classes going on. So you can actually take from Gianni, can take from me. There's other, it's busy. COVID is finally letting us go back to what we do.
Yes.
And I'm online. I teach on Zoom. If they, can you put my stuff up to follow me on?
Yes, of course I will.
Yes. So I want to do all that. And I actually have a class in a few minutes that's about to start.
Oh, really?
So I have to go. Okay. So one more question. Hurry.
Okay. Now I heard that ALDC might have an international dance convention in 2021. Is that true?
Yes. Well, it was supposed to be last April, then it was moved to August, then it was moved to April again.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be early 22, and it's in Paris, France, London, England, Dublin, Ireland, and Edinburgh, Scotland.
Okay, amazing. And also I heard that you might be back in the music industry. Are you looking for new talent who are singers? Are you
Well,
looking?
I actually produced a new song with one of the kids from Dance Moms. You have to wait and see. So I produced
Okay,
a new song and shot a lyric video and a regular video, and it is awesome. It's
amazing.
kind of freaky and weird. It's not a pop song like It's a Girl Party or Wear 'Em Out. It's not one of those. It's more of a kind of song you sit in your bedroom and listen to and sing along with.
Oh,
And
that's so good.
yes.
And how's your spine surgery? Are you doing better?
No, but
Okay.
I'm just gonna smile through the pain.
That's amazing. And there's a lot of people that want to get connected with you. Do you have any advice for new like singers and actors and dancers who want to like work with you one day?
Absolutely. The best way to get to me directly is through my email. It's just info at abbyleedancecompany.com, and it comes to me from kids. You know, they can email me, and parents that want, managing and like all those kind of questions. Yes.
Okay, amazing. It was so nice meeting you, Miss Abby Lee Miller.
Lovely talking to you. Congratulations on your radio show on iHeart. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone go follow Miss Abby Lee Miller on all social media. She's amazing, and we're out. She's back and better than ever, baby.
Bye.
Bye.